Have you ever looked at a big government contract and thought, wow, how do I even get a foot in the door? It can feel like this exclusive club, right? Well, today we are going to crack that code. We're breaking down one of the most important and honestly one of the most confusing requirements out there. So you've got a killer product or a top-notch service. You know for a fact the government could use what you're selling. But hold on, before you can even get your bid in, there's this one major hoop you've got to jump through. And right there, that's the classic catch-22, isn't it? You need a big government contract to get experience, but you need experience to win a big government contract. So how in the world do you break that cycle? It all comes down to understanding one little acronym. Okay, let's meet the gatekeeper. This is the SLCC. If you want to get to the big leagues of government projects, you have to get past this first. Understanding what this is, well, it's pretty much everything. SLC stands for Single Largest Completed Contract. Basically, the government agency is looking at your resume. They're asking, hey, have you actually done something this big and this complex before? It's their way of making sure you can handle the job before they hand over a taxpayer-funded project. It's all about managing risk.
So, how do you pass this test? Well, the main road, the most common way to do it, is what we call the 50% test. This is the standard rule you'll see almost everywhere, and it's the first thing you need to get straight. The rule itself is pretty simple. You need to have completed a single contract in the past that's worth at least half, 50% of the budget for the new project you're bidding on. We call that budget the ABC. So, if the new project has an ABC of, say, $10 million, you need to show them you've already handled a single project worth at least $5 million. And this isn't just for one type of project. This 50% rule is the default, whether you're supplying computers, which falls under goods, or you're building a bridge, an infrastructure project. This is the main path. And here's the question that probably keeps a lot of business owners up at night. What if your biggest success was a $3 million project, but the requirement is $5 million? Are you just out of the running? Is it game over? Well, maybe not. Fortunately, there's a really smart alternative built into the law, but it's a bit of a pro tip. For one specific category of procurement, there's a more flexible way to qualify, and knowing this can be an absolute game changer. Now, this is so important, I've got to say it twice. This alternative path is only for the procurement of goods. So if you're a supplier, if you sell items, equipment, materials, you need to lean in. This is for you.
This is called the Aggregate Rule. Instead of one massive contract, you get to bundle your experience. Here's how it works. First, you need at least one similar contract that's worth 25% of the new project's budget. Then, step 2, you can pile on your other completed contracts, and get this, they don't even have to be similar to add up to another 25%.
See what we did there? 25 plus 25 still gets you to that magic 50%. The first 25% proves you know this specific type of work, and the other 25% proves you have the general capacity to manage contracts and deliver. It's a fantastic way to open the door for more businesses to compete.
Okay, I just used a really important word, similar. You have to be careful, because in the world of government procurement, words like that have very, very specific meanings. What the government considers similar for a goods project is totally different from an infrastructure project. This is a detail you cannot afford to get wrong.
So let's look at the official language. For goods, similar means it's germane to the kind, class, or genus. For infrastructure, it means having the same major categories of work. Now, I know that sounds like a bunch of legal jargon, so let's break it down into plain English. Here's an easy way to think about it. For goods, similar is like being in the same family. So if the government wants to buy office chairs, a past contract for office desks would probably count. They're both in the office furniture family. For infrastructure, it's all about core skills. If the project is building a road, a past contract for building an airport runway would be similar, because they both involve the same major work, like paving and earthworks.
All right, we've covered the main rule, the secret alternative for goods, and that super important definition of similar. So let's pull this all together into a quick checklist you can use to figure out exactly where your business stands. Think of this table as your cheat sheet. For goods projects, you've got 2 shots, the standard 50% rule or that flexible 25 plus 25 aggregate rule. And remember, similar just means it's in the same product family. For infrastructure, it's much more straightforward. You have one path, the 50% rule. And similar means you've got the same core construction skills. That's it. And really, that's the bottom line. Winning starts with knowing the rules of the game. First,
You have to figure out, what kind of project is this? Is it goods? Is it infrastructure? Once you know that, you can map out your strategy. Can you hit that 50% with one contract? If not, and it's a goods project, can you make the aggregate rule work for you? So I want to leave you with this question. Go back and look at your company's completed projects. With this new lens, with this new understanding of the SCLC, which of your past wins, or maybe which combination of them, is the actual key that's going to unlock that next big government contract? The door is open now that you know how to turn the key.